Why do I think that TikTok is going to destroy the news channels and the news companies? Because news is... What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the Deeper Podcast with your host, Josh Heathcote. I hope you guys are doing so amazingly well today, and I really do appreciate you joining me for this adventure we're going to take today into the deep dive of why I think TikTok is going to be overtaking news channels. But before we get into that, if you guys haven't checked out my previous podcast about the Rugby World Cup, the Cricket World Cup, and how South Africa was beating New Zealand in many different sports, please definitely go check that out. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. Definitely go check that out. All my social medias are the Depot Podcast. You guys will definitely go find it. I also have a TikTok if you guys didn't know. It's also the Depot Podcast. I post short clips about my podcasts onto that TikTok for you guys to see and get intel when I'm going to post again and what I'm going to post about. So let's get straight into the video or the podcast as to why I think TikTok is going to be the end to news channels and news TV. So, in the beginning, teenagers, kids, as well as adults, which is quite surprising to be honest, because adults, especially older adults, such as like 40 to 60 years old, only technically use Facebook, but no, I'm clearly wrong, because kids, teenagers, and adults are getting news from social media and TikTok. So what's interesting about that is I've actually seen it with my audience on my TikTok that people over 40 do watch my videos, which is quite surprising. And what's interesting is that most of the people who post on TikTok about the news is young adults. So as I know adults, they are very, very like stingy with who they trust and who they believe. So from what I've seen is that they only trust reliable sources, which I'm quite surprised by, because parents or adults nowadays, I can see that they do fall under the spell that social media gives them. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've also fallen for it a couple times. But that's not the only points I have today. I have many other. So if you guys do enjoy this, please hit the like button, hit the ad, follow, share. I really, really do appreciate you guys sharing these podcasts. It really does make an impact, and I can definitely see the impact that it has made and will make in the future. So if you guys don't mind sharing, please, you know what to do. So the real peak nowadays was, or earlier on for news channels such as CNN, Fox News, and all of that, was during the COVID crisis in 2020. Because obviously you needed to find out news somehow. So you would turn on the TV, you would go watch the news about the most recent COVID and all the information that they have on vaccines, lockdown like in South Africa, and I'm sure many other places in the world. You would always go to the news to go look at it. But later 2020, that kind of took a dip for the youth. In the youth, we stopped watching the news, we stopped listening to actual news reporters, and we would go on TikTok. As you can see in the statistics as to CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC have dropped millions of views in the past years, especially from 2020, from the COVID crisis. And how I know that is because I looked on a website. But for TikTok in 2020, and this is where during lockdown for South Africans, we got bored and we stopped listening to people who actually told the truth, and we would download TikTok and listen to the news there. So in the statistics I'm going to read, you're going to be quite surprised. In 2020, TikTok had 465.7 million followers or users that use their platform, which is quite a substantial amount. if you actually think about it, because I mean, 400 million people, almost 500 million people is an insane amount. It's literally 500,000,000, a 16th of our population. So, if you think about it, kids nowadays are being consumed by fake propaganda and miscommunication. And that's why I really don't think that TikTok and social media is the most reliable place to find news information out, because people can twist stories so quickly and change the actual meaning behind something very, very quickly. And that's just, it's not really good. So, from 2020 to 2023, like I said, 465.7 million users. Now, in 2023, this is going to shock you, 900.7 million users. Now, a full jump, literally almost 500 million users in 3 years, is astronomical. It's an insane amount of followers or users to use a platform over a short span of time. Now, yes, 3 years is a long time, but realistically, 3 years to gain 500 million users is insane. So, now, the decrease of millions of views watching news on television is due to the increase of users watching news on TikTok, which with pages such as, so there's content, there's to go back onto that, there are content creators such as Dylan's Page, who actually spreads news. He tells us current events that are happening in the world, and I'm not gonna bash him, but he doesn't spread propaganda. He doesn't spread fake news, because everything he gets is from reliable news sites like News 24, CNN, and all of those reliable news sources. And he is one of the biggest influencers who spread news, and I truly, truly, truly support him, because he is one of the most inspirational content creators that I know in the news industry. Now, there's also South African news content creators like the Cool Story Brew page. Now, he also spreads, or he also talks about a lot of news, and he talks about current events that are happening in the world, especially in South Africa, because he is a South African content creator. So he shows us everything that's happening with what was the Rugby World Cup and what was the Cricket World Cup until we got knocked out yesterday. But he would tell us everything about South Africa, and he would also touch on some things about like overseas in America, China, Russia, blah blah blah. Now, average viewers that would view CNN, Fox News, and all the other news channels in America average around 3 million listeners or viewers. Dylan's Page, I estimated, I rounded about 3 million views per video. Now, let's say he posts 3 videos per day. That's 9 million viewers watching his content. That is 3 times the amount someone would watch a news channel, a reliable news channel. And if Dylan's Page had to promote something that was misinformation or propaganda, just imagine how much it'll spread. Just imagine how many little kids will believe the lies that he would spread. Now, that's the problem with our day and age. The kids are so consumed with this knowledge and so consumed with technology that they will believe anything that like pops up on their screen. It's just like it's a hit of dopamine, you know. Now, here's some of the biggest what ifs as to why I think TikTok is gonna be the ruining of the world and the news. And we're gonna get that into it right now, as to what could this do to our world? Like, what would this do to our world if news companies got kicked out? How many false accusations and false information are we going to get? Because I mean, anyone can just start up a TikTok and just say something and little kids will believe them. Like that's going to spread so much false information and so much controversy amongst the youth and amongst the world when little kids have access to this such a big responsibility. They can create an account, they can post their TikTok, they can say, oh look, I did this, I saved someone, when they literally just got that video off of YouTube where they lied about something to get views but people believe them. And then they go tell their friends, and then this just spreads like a wildfire. People are going to believe false accusations of false information, which could potentially end a lot of things and make a lot of people angry and end up in the banning of TikTok and the banning of social media because of all this controversy and propaganda. Because it's not good for us. It's not good for us to get fake information and false information, because it's all it's going to do is just cause more drama and more fear. Now, like I touched on now, the use of social media, you know it, I know it, everyone knows it. There's a lot of fake news on there. There's a lot of Photoshop, there's a lot of fake ways to earn money rich online in 5 minutes. There's a lot of how to get abs in 5 minutes. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of miscommunication and just fake stuff for clickbait, to get views, to get money. All it is a money scheme. Most content creators who fake news for views only do it for the money. All they do is for little kids to click on their video so that they can make money, which it's just not a way to live life. It's not a way to scam people in thinking that they're gonna, oh yes, I'm gonna get abs in 5 minutes. It's impossible to get abs in 5 minutes. It's impossible to get abs in 5 minutes. Trust me. Learn from me. I've tried it. I've tried to get abs in 5 minutes. It doesn't work. It does not work. So when you see how to get abs in 5 minutes, don't click on the video. All you're doing is giving the guy money. All you're doing is giving the guy money. Now, also, getting back onto this topic, as TikTok, unreliable source. Now, would in 5 years' time, would you yourself, as either an adult, as a child, or as a teenager, believe a TikToker who has no degree, no actual reliable sources, tell you about crucial information that's happening in the world? Would you believe that? No, you wouldn't. I can tell you and answer on behalf of you, you would not listen to someone who does not give you correct information. Because why? It's not trustworthy. But you in your little mind will think, yes, no, it's perfect, let me listen to this. No, it's not a good idea. I would rather listen to someone who is professional at what they do and get sources from a reliable source and get it from the news, because that is literally their job. Their job is to tell the truth, to spread truths. That's their job. TikTokers is just, their profession is to earn money, to make people enjoy their content. When their content is lies, there's not much enjoying to do. And with all this information, like, TikTok is, yes, it's a big platform. It's the most convenient platform. It's the most addicting platform because it gives you a dopamine rush every single time you swipe. Literally every single time you swipe, you feel good about yourself. But don't let it ruin you to the point where you get misled and you listen to fake news, because it's not true. There's no point in listening to fake news when all you're going to do is tell, let me actually give you a little story. So, there is two people. There is Peter and Johannes. Okay, Peter and Johannes. Peter thinks he's a slim boy. He goes on his phone, he's like, oh, look at this. KSI just brought out R1 million Prime. Now, obviously, boom. It's not true. It's really not true. And it came to South Africa. Peter was like, yo, it's so cool. Let me go show my friend. So he goes to Johannes. Oh, Johannes, kyk vir hierdie. No. Johannes is gonna look at him and be like, you're doof. You're doof. How idiotic can you actually be to think that KSI would make Prime 1 million rand? How idiotic can you be? Why is Peter gonna lose Johannes as a friend? Because he's misled information and he made himself look stupid. You mustn't believe things that you see on social media. Not all things are true. Unless it comes from a reliable source, don't believe it. Because it's not true. And that's something that I think everyone can learn from. Is yes, we'll make mistakes. Yes, we will believe something from a TikTok and we'll tell our friends, and our friends will look at us skiff, be like, dude, you must really stop watching TikTok. It's not the truth. Go Google it. It's not the truth. So with all this information, I'm going to leave you with one last point. TikTok. Why do I think that TikTok is going to destroy the news channels and the news companies? Because new, old school news channels, TV, cable in America, DSTV in South Africa, it's old. It's stuff that we don't enjoy anymore. You go on DSTV, you can't pick what you want to watch. It's so limited nowadays that you have to watch specifically what is on DSTV, what's showing. You go on Netflix, you can search up a movie, boom, watch it. Watch it whenever you want. On DSTV, you have to wait for it to show, and you can go days and months without seeing that movie or episode or whatever. I mean, it's old school. The only use for DSTV and cable nowadays is sports. Because you can't really watch that anywhere else. You really can't. And that's something that a lot of people struggled with nowadays with the Rugby World Cup is they got rid of their DSTV because first of all, it's really expensive. Second of all, it's so inconvenient. Like, it's useless other than sport. And not a lot of people watch sport, but when it comes to the Rugby World Cup in South Africa, it's a big thing. Everyone, even people who don't watch rugby, come and watch the rugby because it's such an important thing to our country. So it's old school. That's why I think news is gonna die down so quickly, and TikTok and social media, Instagram, Facebook, X, anything social media where people can access information and distribute information is gonna take over the news, because everyone can just by a click of a button you can see anything you want. You can search anything you want and you will get an answer. Which is very dangerous, honestly, because you can say blah 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 and post it to you can post it to Instagram, you can post it to TikTok, and it just doesn't make sense to me, because I mean, why would you do that? It's misleading and it's misinformation. It's propaganda. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I hope you guys really did enjoy this podcast. I really did enjoy making this. I hope it's inspired some of you to make your own journey. And if you guys want to start a podcast, let me know down below. I can give you an easy step-by-step guide on how to make a podcast and how to make it as best as you can as a beginner, like I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make the best quality podcasts for you guys as a beginner with limited supplies. I mean, I'm using my phone as a webcam. It's just one of those things, like as a beginner, you want to produce quality content for your listeners so they'll come back and then slowly but surely progress and get better and get more equipment. And that's something that I strive to do, is produce quality content for you guys. And I really do hope you guys enjoy this. Please, if you guys want to, comment down below what you guys enjoy about this podcast in Spotify. Give me a Q&A. Tell me about how you enjoyed this podcast. And if you didn't, let me know down below why you didn't enjoy it so I can improve on my mistakes. And if you guys want to, my YouTube is at the Depot Podcast. Please go like and subscribe on my podcasts. You can go comment on my videos. All my podcasts are on there. And you also get exclusive reels to content and short clips of my podcast, as well as on TikTok. My @ on TikTok is also at the Depot Podcast. And I really just do hope you guys enjoyed this. Please feel free to share this to your friends, your family, and yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, you know this by now. If you guys did enjoy this, please, you know what to do. And yeah, I'll check you in the next one. Goodbye.